about self-compassion, we have such high standards of ourselves. So we are critical if we are not progressing along.
Mm-hmm.
We're critical if we make mistakes, or we're critical of ourselves when things don't turn out the way, right? Some of us spiral down. That spiraling could be so self-compassion could be when we make a mistake, but we're not a mistake.
Right.
We made one, right? Self-compassion is that we don't call our name stupid. We don't call ourselves stupid in our head.
Right.
That was dumb. Or how could I made that? That's the self-talk. That's self-compassion. That we don't speak those things internally for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We have an internal dialogue with ourselves many times that's not healthy.
Yeah. Wow.
It's not good.
Unhealthy internal dialogue.
It happens all the time. You'd be surprised what people say to themselves.
Yeah.
About themselves. You make a wrong turn, you get off the wrong exit on the 405.
Lord knows, yes.
My God from Zion, right?
And I was never going to get to the lunch we had. I was really like, you're going to keep driving.
Just forget it.
Going home.
And then we go into the spiral. Self-compassion would say, okay, when I get there, I get there. Right? I missed the exit. When I get there, I get there. People still gonna wait on me. I'm good. Self-compassion, practicing self-compassion is being kind to yourself in those difficult times.
Good.
Right.
And do you think it's also, I think, well, we can go to the next ones, but
okay. Now, so that also can look like also when we think about the emotion self-care, that is also men's ministry. That's women's ministry.
Yeah.
That's group counseling. That's therapy, right? Getting to that's part of seeking support, whatever the support can be, right? So we got them. So emotional care is journaling. We got support, right? We got self-talk, self-compassion, and we also got practicing boundaries. Stay no when necessary to protect your energy. That's what I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got the emotional. We got the physical. Now here's the mental piece.
Okay.
Now, we practice prayer and meditation. Right? That's how we can, that's self-care.
Yeah.
Right? Here's another thing. We learn something new.
Yeah.
Right? Whatever that is. Right? It could be language. It could be a new game. It could be whatever, right?
I saw a quote from Miles Davis. He was talking about how he's happiest when he's learning something. He was like, well, and as much as he is shared and had, and the genius that he had, he said, but he would get excited when he was learning something new. And that made him happy. That's what got him going.
That's right. So learning, that's books. Maybe taking a new course. Could be a hobby.
Yeah.
Right. Learning something new is part of our mental health because it allows us, again, we're talking about self-care now. Right. Okay. Here's the other thing. We can limit our stress. Right. So that means we're going to reduce some negative things we normally would hang into. That could be doom scrolling on your phone.
Right.
It could be checking the news every hour and hour.
Right.
That could be a toxic family thread that you want.
Yeah. Wow.
Right? Some of us on threads we shouldn't be on.
As Bishop, the late Bishop Robert Douglas used to say when he was preaching, he said, "Now stir that up, stir that up." He said, "Stir that up." But sometimes Bishop said, "Stir that up."
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But but because sometimes we have these toxic threads, as you said, these connections, these
toxic people.
Yeah, and there are people that are just toxic, and they're not trying to change, and you can't change them. And so what you do is you eliminate yourself from that.
That's right. So we gotta, and we can eliminate our stressors. That's self-care.
Yeah.
Right. Wow. So, for instance, I used to check the news sources every day. Right. So now I just check it 1 hour on a Saturday. Why? Because don't too much change in a week.
No, it doesn't.
So I don't need to be caught in the.
I got to the place where I stopped, all the network, all that.
Yes,
stuff. And then even what I'm looking on social media, and
Yes, sir.
I can't, I'm not going to click on everything. I don't care. Yeah. It's like I have to keep my mind. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Keep your mind. So we talked about that's mental self-care. Let's look at the social self-care, because we also need people. So we got to connect with our loved ones, right? Friends, family, maybe your sorority, your fraternity, your lodge, right? Social connections also help us with our self-care. Being with other communities, right? Group of interest. There's a big running club now. The whole running club thing is big now, and people got bowling leagues, and people go roller skating. Find your people.
Yeah.
And that is part of your self-care as well. That's the social piece.
Yeah.
Right? Bishop, we're too isolated as spiritual leaders.
Wow.
We're too isolated. Or we just hang around other pastors.
Right. And all you do is
walk war stories.
Bishop Noel Jones, my friend, used to, you go see him. Me and friends of ours will go see him at the church, after he didn't preach and stuff. Man, I don't want to sit around talking about church all day. It just came from church, and I love it, because it was like, ain't nobody gonna sit around and just keep talking. And I've known leaders that had trouble, and they told me, they like, I don't even know how to go on vacation.
Yeah,
you got a Bible on vacation because you're doing, you're trying to figure out the next Bible stuff.
Right. You're supposed to be on the Amalfi Coast. Relax.
Right, you sitting up in the but part of that's because of the culture that we grew up in and came up in, that you thought that the pastor had to be locked in, on the word all the time. And I mean, I'm a Bible preacher, but I'm like, look now.
But you can catch me at the Maze concert on Saturday night. I'll be there.
Right. But I'm not going to sit there and be just, locked in and speaking the King James Version while you on vacation.
You better say that, Bishop.
I'm saying the Lord. What? You don't even know how to have a conversation.
Right. Anyway. I equated to that when I used to work in corporate America, like I don't want to go to happy hour.
Right.
I'm done. I
don't want to deal with you people.
I have fulfilled my contract. It ends at 5 p.m. I'm good, right? Or 4:30, right? So we talk. That's the social piece, right? Yeah. And also a key thing is to unplug.
Yeah.
That's the social piece, right? Take breaks from social media. Limit that as much as possible.
Like they say, go out and touch some grass. And go out and
yes, thank you. Go out and touch some grass.
Get some sunlight, get some air.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Because if you're doom scrolling, right? If we just going through and we just scrolling, because that means that we're idle, right? And that thing is stimulating us.
Yeah.
Right. And we're always on, because that thing keeps us on, right?
Yeah.
Just to go up. It also allows us not to get focused on the things we need to be focused.
Yeah.
Right. So that's our prayer meditation. That's when we need to read, right? But we so plugged in, the social media is taking our ability to stay focused.
Yeah, I think you are hitting it. You're hitting the nail right on the head, because I think that some of us get so caught up in the latest trend, the latest social media trend. And like I said, I don't know where all y'all go to learn these dances, but I mean,
when you get ready to go on vacation, your wife's gonna have that fan.
We go. It's gonna be a problem. We gonna have some problems.
Come on, boots on the ground. Come on, boots.
I don't want to see a cowboy boot. I want to see a fan or a hat.
Yes, sir. So we gotta have social. we gotta have social self-care. Here's the spiritual self-care. That's our prayer. We talked about the prayer meditation, right? I don't think we spend enough time in nature.
Wow. Yeah.
I think we need
to spend
outside.
Enough time in nature.
That's a hike. That's by the ocean. That's at a local park. You don't have to be anything big. Just
Spend more. Yeah.
You find yourself in nature and sit down somewhere.
Yeah.
Right out there. Take your time.
And even if you're just watching, sometimes just watching people, but just be out there in nature. And that was one of the things. And what's interesting is a lot of what you are saying were things that I remember sharing with leaders during the pandemic.
Oh man, great.
They're telling us, they had these list of things, 10 things to do to try to help us cope with being stuck inside. And all things, going out, touch nature, get out and basically just stop scrolling, stop tuning into everything, feeding your mind, all this stuff. And I think that, those are some of the things that are keeping us as leaders from being able to be a blessing to the people that are following.
That's right.
I can't really help the sheep until I'm, balanced.
If my cup is empty, Doc, what do I have to give you?
You can't pour from an empty cup.
And if your cup has been leaking, you ain't got nothing there, right?
Man.
Right? And we have lied to ourselves to think we got more than enough in there. We don't. We actually right on. We passed these.
Listen, we've been pouring drops out and the thing that's interesting is you can get by.
Yeah. But,
been doing this so long.
Yeah.
We know how to make it.
Jesus' disciples said, Master Teacher, why couldn't we heal them? He said, well, look here now, some things come out.
This guy, you haven't done the things that are required.
They're required of you. So if Jesus took time to go up to the mountain.
Yeah. He had to get away from folks. He got away from people.
And even Paul recognized his weaknesses. We got models that show us how to do this thing, right? We're not even honest about our can't help us.
That's right. That's right.
You know these pastors love them a scratch off.
That's a scratch off ministry. All right, that's what we say. Got a scratch off demon. Because everything.
Gene Patterson said, if you got a habit, what he said, Bishop Gene Patterson is saying, if you can have it, God can handle it, something like that.
That's right.
He's so right.
That's
so we think about it, Pastor. We have models. We have Jesus saying, well, I'm going to go away. I'm going to go away. Prayer, separate myself. Right? It was a spiritual hike.
Yeah.
Right? I'm hanging out for a while. Right? And I'm going to leave my people down here and let you all kind of do what you need to do because, do your thing. And then they couldn't heal the person. He said, look, man, how much? I can't even go up.
I can't even go away for a few minutes. And here y'all got chaos down here.
Right.
But again, and it's interesting that you're touching on, the things that because I think that what's hindering us, maybe I was going to ask, what do you think it is that's hindering leaders or from addressing their personal stuff, but also from, helping the people they lead? Why is it so hard? Maybe that's my question. To really wrap our arms around the mental health issue, and especially in the Black church.
Yeah.
I
think part of it is
in the church in general.
Right. You said something that's a great question. Bishop, part of why we struggle so hard is because we don't really know what we need.
We don't know what we need.
We really don't know what we need. We have been nurtured and also socialized and spiritualized in churches that this is all you need.
Oh, come on.
Right here.
Please say that.
Right? This is all you need, right? And those are about 4 or 5 things. It ain't much, right? But we're fully human and fully divine at the same time. And then we have been so socialized and conditioned that these are all the 5 things that I need, that I got to suppress these other things. Because
if I keep still feeling it, something's wrong with me.
Something's wrong with me. And also, I can't bring it to God. I can't bring it to the church, right? So where does it go? What do I do with all this? So the reason we struggle with it because we have not found the balance between our divine and our human nature.
And I think we haven't created an environment.
There you go.
Where, as leaders, where people can be vulnerable, can be, my
honest.
Honest. There it is. My wife said something interesting. She was talking about in the old church. Sister Carla said when folks got up, they, and got in the prayer line, came down to the altar. You didn't want to. You had to put on the performance.
Yeah, man.
Because you don't want to look like you didn't figure it out in that few minutes that you were down there. In other words, I got to play it off.
Right.
And what we've been doing is playing it off. We've been front. Because everybody is struggling.
Yes, sir. Can I say, Bishop? We don't have a name for it. We don't even know what to call it.
Yeah.
Right. My grandmother took a nerve pill. What you call it?
That's a nerve pill. That's right.
Right. She called it a nerve pill. Right. But what was that thing?
Yeah.
That she went to her doctor. They said, "I think you need this thing." Was that anxiety?
And see, what we call anti-anxiety. Oh, wait a minute. Now you wait a minute. You don't need nothing.
Right.
But the Holy Ghost.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily the truth. I think we need both.
We need the Holy Ghost and the nerve pill.
And we need that nerve pill. Right. So you ask, and then also we haven't structured the church. Our environment in the church, you talked about that. I grew up in a traditional Baptist church. There was the pastor was the pastor and the counselor, and it wasn't much there. Right. Then we moved to another church. They had a counseling center. It was integrated. It was integrated in the church, and the counselors were social workers and master PhDs, but people went for mental health, for support. Right. So our church needs to be more integrated when it comes to this thing. But I want to go back to something. We don't do a good job of naming it.
Yeah.
Everything is not demonic.
Amen, sir. Everything.
Something is not demonic. Because you don't understand it. It can't be a demon just because you don't understand it.
Right.
But maybe the thing is, maybe we got to let's figure this out together.
Yeah, right.
I don't know what it is.
But let's work through it. Let's walk through this.
And I may not be the best resource for you, but we're going to find some resources. You see? Right? So that means we got to let go of this Superman cape. When if we're honest, we're more Clark Kent than we are Superman.
Right. And we have to be able to, and I agree. I did a study with Azusa Pacific University about mental health in the clergy years ago, really right before the pandemic, and we published a study and all that stuff. Beautiful. But the thing that was awesome about it was it helped me when the pandemic came along to not think, okay, I have all the answers. So then when Sister Barbara talked about what Denise had shared with the women on my cousin's birthday that summer, I was like, oh, and the Lord was like, that's what you need to do.
Yes, sir.
In the church. That's why you need to help. And so, but I was, because I had been a part of that study, I was more open to, okay, I'm not going, and I'm not the one qualified to lead it. Let's bring somebody in that really knows what they're doing, and I can benefit from it too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We're in this together. So, and as you know, with the brothers, we're in there. Ain't nobody. I ain't trying to friend nobody. I'm in here.
And you don't have to work so hard because you got other people helping you do it. So you can focus in on the things that you do well, whatever that may be. Right? If you got a building project going on, you got to raise millions and millions of dollars. Of course you want to nurture your people, but you got people that can help nurture. your people.
Yeah.
Why you go out and raise money? Because you gotta do this thing, right? And so let's go back for a second. If you don't, part of why it's not, we have such a hard time with it because we have not given people permission to be a human being.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to be a human being is complicated.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Mm-hmm. If you are pastoring a predominantly African American community, you're going to have to look at all of the social ills that they bring into the church.
Right.
And Absolutely. Many times that has a mental impact on our people.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Depression, anxiety, right? Drugs, violence, domestic violence, right? Addictions, right? You know, scratch offs, whatever, right? Whatever maybe. But if you're in if your congregation is half women, half men, women have certain things they bring in sociologically to the church that we as men, as pastors and ministers, can't take that stuff because we ain't a woman. We don't know what idea, but we don't know what it means.
Be so stuck on ourselves that we think we know everything. We don't know everything. We don't know how to address it, and it's okay to not know. You got to be able to say, "I don't know." But you know, that's one of the things they taught me when I was going to Bible college was,
yes, sir.
You know, Dean Jackson said, you know, you don't have to know everything.
Yeah.
And she told us, but she said, what you need to do is be able to say, I can go. I'm gonna find out though. I can go find it.
You didn't know how to hunt.
Yeah. You know, you don't need to be walking around knowing every single thing about every topic. But I know how to I can get some help. I can get somebody in here that does.
If you're church and you are centered in a community, there are community resources that the church should always know what's about.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So part of the church can be building a resource center.
Yes.
Right. Or just resource period.
Right.
On the website, right? There could be a resource area just on the tab.
Yeah,
look and click.
Mental, emotional health for
Boom,
abuse.
boom, boom, boom.
All
right.
Kind of, yeah.
And that comes from Spirit Life Ministry and Bishop Hamilton sent me. Oh yeah, we know Bishop, and absolutely, we're gonna put you on the sliding scale fee.
Yeah.
I don't have the $10. We'll take $10. Come on here, right? So part of that is integrating it, putting the shame off of it. Taking off your Superman cape because most of us don't wear it anyway, right?
Right.
Understanding that just because we don't know what it is, it's not a demon.
Right.
Just because we don't know what it is does not make it demonic. I have to repeat that to people who may be listening to this broadcast.
Right. You're absolutely
right. And then lastly, you said something else. You said, and I don't know everything, but you can be a resource to people, right? And that gives you permission to do all the other things that are in charge of, right?
Yeah.
And so part of practicing self-care is hitting all those areas I just mentioned to you, right? And self-care is not being selfish. Self-care is I'm gonna take this thing, get that water in, and every morning, every evening, I'm gonna fill this water up. I'm gonna fill it up with my physical practice. I'm gonna fill it up with my emotional practice. I'm gonna fill it up with my mental practice. I'm gonna fill it up with my social practice. I'm gonna fill this thing up. Right? So that when I'm in community with people, if I'm serving as a shepherd in self-care, I can pour.
Yeah, I got something to pour out.
I got some, right? And here's the other thing. It makes us a kinder leader.
Yes.
And a compassionate leader. We're softer. We're not so hard. Right? It gives us a little bit more compassion, and it helps us also not to burn out.
Right. Look, and because we're not walking around angry and frustrated
and mad at everything and everybody, right?
And everybody's a demon.
Man, what you talking about? So when we look at self-care, I want you to think about, here's the question I want to leave everyone is, where is the leak?
Where is the leak?
Where's the leak? Do a self-assessment of what's really going on in your physical, in your emotional, in your mental, in your social well-being. Check in.
Yeah.
And be honest. And then hit the ground running. That means connect with others who understand what self-care is, right? That's in community with other people, other ministers, if that's what you want to do, right? Make sure your needs taken care of. Name the need. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have your non-negotiables. Mine is when I had to walk that roast down. My God. And so,
you got everybody thinking about a roast, and
yeah. And I had a toothpick in my mouth. You know, it was really good, right?
Yeah,
so, yeah. We stuck in there, had to work with it. So, so have room for grounding, have room for grace, have room for compassion, have room for non-negotiables, right? And when we think about, when I ask you the question, where is the leak, it takes time to figure it out.
Yeah.
Because when you find a leak in the house, water travels.
You got to figure out where the source is. Where did it come from?
Got to get to the source, but then look how much damage the water has done.
Mm-hmm.
It was over here, but it traveled all the way through the basement.
You preaching, Doug.
Right? So your basement is now your physical, it's your spiritual. All of that now is being impacted. Because the core of the thing is you didn't set no boundaries. The core of the thing is you didn't take care of yourself. Right?
Yeah.
You didn't. Why do I remember that my grandmother used to take a nerve pill? Because that was really clear to me that something was off. But we didn't have a name. I didn't have a name for it. But there was something her doctor named, because she had a conversation with her doctor for him or her.
This is what the symptoms are. This is what's happening with me.
Right. And here's a pill. She called it her nerve pill, and she would go lay down and sleep for a couple of hours. Right? Get up and cuss everybody else out.
Nerve pill worked, but it was out.
It was working. It was working. So recognize if there's a leak, right? Number 2, if you're lying to yourself, you won't heal.
Yeah.
Liars don't heal.
Liars don't heal.
They don't heal. I gotta say that. We don't. If we're not being honest, we can't heal.
Yeah.
Put a name on it. Right? Everybody got their can't help it. Name it. Right? Everybody got their thing that they hooked on. Whatever he said, Bishop Pastor would say, whatever you're hung up on, Jesus is the habit breaker. That's what he said. Whatever you are hung up on, Jesus is a habit breaker.
He's a habit breaker. Come on, Bishop. I hear you.
Come on, Bishop. So I know our time is closing, but I guess you to leave that with us.
I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Physical, mental, spiritual, the social, and all of that. And you asked the question, why is it so hard? The Black church in particular is an institution. And part of that institution is the community that comes in those 4 doors, right? In those 4 walls, right? Yeah. And people bring their full selves in those spaces. And I want us to enjoy our music. I want us to enjoy the preached word. I want to have more babies and more weddings. We're gonna have to bury some people because that's life, right? I want to find joy, right? And I want to also encourage us to play more, to find our passions, to be more creative, to ask the tough questions. And when we see something, when we see a person who we know personalities change, they're withdrawn, they look nervous, right? You can start looking for things. Because when we recognize it in ourselves, we can recognize it in other people. And the reason that most of us don't want to touch other people's pain, Bishop, because we're not in contact with our own.
We haven't touched ours. We haven't dealt with ours.
We haven't touched ours, right? And so we got to be able to touch our own pain in order for us to see the pain in other people. And then not only see it, care about it, give them the resources they need, the life and compassion for them. And just be a place where compassion flows. But you're going to go across the street at the counseling center. You're going to do the work. You're going to go to Bible study. You're going to sit and praise and worship. We love all the good stuff. And we're going to help your kids go to college. And we're going to marry your daughter off because we know that's important to you. But, the lights are on across the street.
That's it.
Right? And be okay with that. And so I want to thank God for Spirit of Life Ministry and your vision, Bishop.
Bless you, man. I got really 5 questions I should ask you. I usually ask
all my
guests. So I'm gonna hit you with these real quick. All right. Number one, if you could go back in time to any moment or event, what would it be? If you could,
what would it be? If I could go back, it would be in a moment of time, and then what? It's kind of the time I like. It's a good time, a bad time.
Like I wish I would have. I wish I could have been alive when this happened, or I wish I would have been able to go to that. What would it be?
I wish in 1992 that I would have completed. Let me clarify.
Now, this could be a historical event, though, too.
Yeah, okay. Let me tell you something. I wish I could have been in Inglewood at the Forum when Prince did 16 shows there.
Oh, yeah. Early in the 2005.
I was working on my master's degree. Degree was, and Denise was running that whole thing. And I couldn't go.
Oh, man, it was amazing.
Now, don't rub it in, Bishop.
I won't, but it was amazing.
And so when I was in California, of course, we met up. Denise said, you missed it. I said, Denise, please don't.
Hey, I won't do that to you, but I'm just saying it was amazing.
That moment, I would love to spend some time rocking out there.
Yeah, I think about stuff like that too.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let me have, if you can have 3 Desert Island albums or movies, what would they be? 3 of them.
Number 1, Songs from Kid Life, Stevie Wonder. Number 2 would be Off the Wall, Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah, the best Michael Jackson album.
Yeah. That Michael with the big nose and the afro. That one, and Love Alive with Walter Hawkins.
No wonder we're cool.
Them 3.
Man, that's
I can listen to them on repeat.
You can. You'll be all right if you had those 3 albums.
Yes, sir.
You'll be all right.
Yes, sir.
Next question: what person, living or dead, would you like to hang out with?
Ooh. Wow. They said never meet your heroes, right?
Right.
I would love to hang out with it was 2 people. It was either Dr. J in his prime.
Okay.
I was fascinated with Dr. J, Julius Erving.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the literature side, Toni Morrison.
Wow.
I wanted to hang out with Dr. J because I thought he was the coolest thing ever.
I know. I was the same way. I grew up. It was fun. Next one is, who inspires you?
Oh, that's interesting. There was a 5th grade teacher who changed my life.
Wow.
Juanita Watson.
Mm-hmm.
And I stuttered growing up, shy kid. Mm-hmm. She called my parents in and said, hey, she told me, hey, I want you to wait for me after school. Your parents are going to come up here. Immediately I thought I was in trouble.
Right.
Long story short, she tells my parents, I want him to give the poem for our Black history.
Wow.
And I'm a kid who stuttered, and I'm fighting the whole thing. I'm not going to do it, right? Mm-hmm. My folks said, oh, you're going to do this, right? All this.
All right.
Right. But she said to my parents, I see it in him. And as his teacher, I got to break it open.
There it is.
She said, if I don't break it open, she said, he'll never speak.
Wow.
She said, I'm going to work with him every day after school.
That's amazing.
I remember that conversation, right? Mm-hmm. And that changed everything for me as a young kid who was withdrawn, who stuttered, who was shy, pretty good in class. And Miss Juanita said, I'm going to break it open.
Isn't that amazing how one person, God can put the right person in your life to change it? Yeah.
I'll never forget her. So she inspires me.
Okay. And now, final question: what's your favorite food or dish? Obviously, roast beef is very popular.
With the toothpick. With the toothpick. With the toothpick.
What's your favorite food?
Cacio pepe. You know what is that? What is that Italian dish? Cacio pepe.
I've heard of it, but yeah.
My favorite time. I can eat that every day.
Wow. Okay.
I can eat that.
I got you.
Yes, sir. But today I have.
Yeah, but yeah, you know, can't eat it.
Right. But I passed a little Italian restaurant I like to go to on my walk, and I keep in.
Yeah, every now and then, but I'm gonna roll by there.
I'm gonna get my pasta. So yes, sir. That's what I.
David Smith, we appreciate you. It's been a pleasure, and you have given us so much. And I believe we're gonna have to repeat this one and play it again for him, because this one will bless a lot of people, and it's a great way for us to start off the next half of this year. We'll get it together.
Okay, brother. Thank you, Bishop. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Love you. And
love you too, brother. It's almost 11 here down.
Okay, yeah, go lay down, man. You tired.
I gotta brush my teeth now. Okay.
God bless you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we appreciate you being a part of the live stream and the conversation with David S. Smith. If you missed any part of it, check it out on our wherever you get your podcasts, wherever you check out on YouTube, check it out. Go to our page, stevehamiltonministries.com, and you can check out all the videos and all that. But I'm telling you, share this, bless somebody else. It will help them. I guarantee you they will be really blessed from this particular podcast. Shepherds and Self-Care, Nurturing Mental Health in Ministry. God bless you. We will see you soon. We love you. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will talk to you later. Good night, everybody.